Khalil. This ain't no fake news, ain't no clowning around. It's the real with Khalil, yeah, the truth is in the sound. The mission, dropping knowledge with no fiction. If you got a minute, sit down and have a listen. From the field to the screens, yeah, we keeping it raw. Real talk, real lessons, addressing every flaw. Life hits hard, and it causes real pain. But out of the struggle, there always comes real change. We dig deep, pulling stories from the core. Vulnerability, truth, transparency, and so much more. So tune in close, let the wisdom expand. It's not only a podcast, it's a helping hand. It's the real with Khalil.
We're good.
Don't start crying.
I might.
Use your own
tissues. I might. I ain't got no problem crying.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
don't have any preconceived notions of what crying means to some people.
I'm working on it.
Could care the fuck less.
Well, it's like the tears don't always flow.
No, I rarely cry.
Yeah, we want to though.
Yeah, it's a rare occasion when I cry.
I want them. I feel like could they just come out and then they don't.
Yeah, I don't really cry often.
That's all right.
Yeah, last time I cried when my mentor passed away.
There's not much to cry about,
right?
Man.
So
life's good.
Right? I mean, or we just learn how to handle it. So
either way, life's good.
Yeah. True. All right, here we go.
All right.
Here we go. All right. Welcome to The Real with Khalil, your podcast for real talk, real lessons with real people for real change. On The Real, we keep it real. We dig deep, pulling stories from the core, vulnerability, truth, transparency, and so much more. I get to welcome our first time nominee. So you guys know at the end of the video, the previous guest will nominate 3 people to come on. This is one of the guests from Dwayne Lefty Phelps. He recommended April. We both didn't know her name. We both didn't know her last name anyway. We both couldn't remember. I was like, I know her, but I don't know her last name.
Yeah,
so, but I'm honored to have you on as the first person that's been nominated. April Didlake.
That's right.
That's probably why we couldn't remember. That's probably why we couldn't remember your last name. Didlake. April Didlake. Well, welcome to the podcast, April. Thanks for being a guest. I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate it so much.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yes.
It's exciting to be nominated, first of all, for anything, but
I thought it was cool. I think that anytime someone is nominating you, it says a lot about your character.
100.
And who you've been for people. Like I think it's such a big deal. So he brought you up and I was like trying to connect the dots when he said it, and I was like, oh, I know April. April.
It was the light skinned, green eyed.
Yeah, there it was.
I was like, that's the description.
And I was like, when's the last time I saw her? I know where I saw you. I saw you across the street, basically. And I was like, I know who you're talking about. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. So I'll tell you, I'm gonna deviate a little bit from what we're going to do, but I'm gonna tell you something. So April came over because I don't really know her super well, although we did meet a long time ago. Which is crazy. I was telling her some of my ideas around the podcast when I was talking about having a nightcap. So maybe like having a drink on camera or like trying out some good alcohol, because people loosen up when they have something in them, right? So
that's right.
So like playing on words. So like tequila is something that I'm into, and I was asking her like some of the quick 6 questions around like getting to know her. And so my typical questions from men are usually like, oh, what's your favorite sport? She was like, well, I'm not really into sports. I'm like, well, what about this? What about this? And I was like, what about your favorite watering holes? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, well, what are you into? She's like, oh, I love tequila. And I'm like, me too. So I told her the nightcap thing. And then we started talking about tequila. And I was like, oh, I have some tequilas. I showed her my cabinet. And so I'm showing her, like, I'm pulling out tequilas. By the way, no one's sponsored, but this one I just got recently. It's an additive-free one. So I just got this from Total Wine. The guy at the place was like, El Ateo, you would say that way? So he was like, oh, this is a really, really good one. So I was like, oh, cool. It's still sealed. And then I've had this El Tesoro for a long time, another additive-free tequila that I definitely think is bomb. But I haven't opened this one yet, so it did get to be cracked. And then I was telling her, I was like, well, what do you drink? Like, Cristalinos, what do you drink? She was like, oh, I love Reposado. So I had this Reposado by Suavecito in my cabinet. I'm like, oh, it's super smooth. You have to have it one day. And her response was, we should have it today. So on a school day nonetheless, we are having our first shot on The Real with Khalil. And these are awesome UMass frosted shot glasses. And so on a school day, this lady is having me take a shot of Suavecito Reposado And we are going to kick it off this way. This is the first time ever. So
Doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the podcast.
Keeping it real.
Right?
Here we go.
Here we go. Cheers.
It is smooth.
It's smooth, huh?
Yeah.
Wildly smooth, huh?
Yeah. I would take that home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a picture of that.
Yeah, this is good, right? Suavecito. You guys can sponsor this, by the way. Suavecito. Feel free. I'll happily take it. Okay. That was good, huh?
It was good.
All right. So back to the lecture. Where are you from? Looks like hometown is Rochester.
Rochester, New York.
Okay. And so how long you been on here?
19 years.
19 years.
It's been a minute.
You're pretty much from here. Now I'm gonna start sweating for sure after that shot.
Nah, you'll be all right. People say that, but I don't feel like I'm from here because that's not where like my foundation. I was here late, almost into my 30s. So I feel like this is home, new home, but I don't feel like I'm a native.
Yeah, no, I feel
Arizona.
that. I feel that. I've been here for 20 years, so I still feel like I'm New Jersey through and through.
All day.
So I fully understand that. But Rochester. So in the chat, in the comments, okay, she's from Rochester. I'm from New Jersey. Okay, so I'm from a place called Camden, New Jersey, but I moved to Cherry Hill. She's from Rochester, New York. I want you to comment where you are watching from. Okay, so comment in the comments where you're watching from. Rep your hood. Let us know. Let us know where you are watching the podcast from today. Achievement. So 10 plus years in architecture, engineering, and construction. You must be pretty smart with math.
I'm not at all.
Really?
No.
So you fudging a resume to get these positions is what I'm understanding.
No. So we met.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew who you were because we worked at Chase.
Yes, we did work at Chase. That was
long time
my
ago.
last job in corporate America.
Long time ago, and
Yeah.
I was in mortgages. And if you know the industry, you get laid off a lot.
Yeah.
So I went from Chase. I became a manager at Wells Fargo. Got laid off, and my own manager was like, "We need to find you a new career." And I'm like, I just had my youngest, so she might have been 1.5.
Got it.
And I'm like, well, what? I don't know. I just
How old is
got
she
in
now?
this 12.
So okay, so got it. Ooh, gosh, that's been a while.
Yes,
now.
it's been a minute. And he told me, he was like, I think you should get into construction. And I was like, what am I going to do in construction?
Right.
I think he thought I was going to stand in like the design centers where they pick out all the pretty stuff for the homes. And that's a great career because so anyone that's looking, that's a great career. You can make really great money. I ended up as a account executive for a wholesale company that sold building materials to home builders. So flooring, countertops, cabinets.
Okay.
A completely different end of
What
that
year?
business.
What year was this? What you thinking?
2014, 15, like early.
So it was after the world imploded on itself with the
Yes.
mortgage. Okay, good.
Yes. So that's how that started. So I've always been on the sales side.
Okay.
Sold building materials from single family housing. I did concrete.
Sounds glamorous.
No, it was the
sounds
that was the worst. I did multifamily housing for most of Phoenix, all the way down to Tucson.
Okay.
So always big projects.
Yeah.
Went to a manufacturer, so I worked for what most people would know as American Standard.
Okay. Yeah.
Sold to architects, engineers, designers, developers for about 4.5 years.
Right.
And then got an opportunity to go to a very, very large architecture firm. They're the oldest architecture firm in the country as their director of business development.
Okay. So
But
you've been
in
in the game the whole time.
In the game the whole time.
The house
in between
game.
there,
You've been
I
in the
went,
home game the whole
I've been
time.
in the development
Yeah.
and building and
Mortgages side too.
the whole thing.
So you seen it, you from the rooter to the tutor.
Yes.
You
Yes.
didn't touch every part of
Every
the
part
house
of the
experience,
house.
right?
Yep.
And so
Yep.
now you are a full-time real estate agent.
Full time.
Okay.
Full time.
I mean, it makes sense though.
It was smart. I got my license in between some of the jobs and
Okay.
knew long term, like either I was going to get into flipping or how was this going to play out. And this year, I just got the opportunity to take the jump.
Well, congrats.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I love it.
So you work. You are 100% realtor for yourself.
For myself,
these days.
independent.
Congratulations. Well, I mean, what about your do you have a site? Do you have your
Yeah,
page?
so
shout
I
it
am
out,
with
shout it out.
iSham Real Estate Group.
Okay.
With Yolana Isham. She's a great brokerage out in Gilbert. I am an independent agent, and you can find me on Welcome Home. _AZ or just April Lee and AZ on Instagram.
April Lee.
April Lee.
Okay.
That's a story for that too.
Not Didlake. Okay, cool. Got it. Moved here 19 years ago with $1,500 in your pocket.
Yep.
And you knew one person and had no plan.
No plan.
Who was the person you knew?
So crazy story is she was my youth like leader
Okay.
at my church
Okay, got it.
back home.
Got it.
And she had moved out here with her best friend, and she knew after college. I went to Hampton University.
Hampton?
Hampton
Okay,
University.
okay.
So
What is Hampton's mascot? The Bisons? What is it? What's Hampton? How Bulls or?
Oh, child.
It's something like that,
It's
right?
the Pirates.
Pirates.
Howard.
Okay.
Howard.
I was recruited by both of those schools coming out of college.
And you went to UMass.
I sure did.
I'm just joking.
I sure did. I sure did. I sure did.
It would have been a great thing. My dad went to Howard, so it's always
Okay.
a
That's
a
cool.
rival,
That's super
but
cool. That's super
yeah,
cool.
after that, I came back to Rochester, and she's like,
Yeah.
she knows it's Rochester.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing
Right,
here? So
right.
she's like, you should come to Phoenix. And at that point, I was desperate. I had moved to Florida briefly, came back. And
What part of Florida were you?
I was in West Palm.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, makes sense. Makes sense you didn't stay there long.
And so she just said, you should come stay with me. You could stay with me for 6 months,
Right.
kind of figure out what you want to do. And I just knew at that time, at 25, no kids, no, like, I had nothing tying me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, this was the best time to
Right,
probably
right.
just book it.
Yeah. What do you think that's like saying to somebody who's like, someone right now is in a place that they may not want to be in. They feel like they don't have the means or the education or the knowledge or,
Sure.
the connections to move to a place.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell them? Like, what would you tell? Like, if it was you, let's say before you made that move, or one of your friends,
Yeah.
and you have, let's say less than $1,500, you got
Sure.
$1,000 in your pocket,
Right.
and you really desire to be somewhere else. What would you tell them, especially at 25?
Go.
Go.
Yeah. I mean, what do you have to lose? For me, it was, my fallback was going to be go back home.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't going to be in a worse situation. I think if I had kids
Mm-hmm.
and other responsibilities, it would have been a different scenario.
Yes.
But I just knew I didn't have anything to lose
Yeah.
at that point.
That's
so
big. That's big.
I've always been a little risky in
Yeah.
that area. So
And risky in the area of like, take a leap.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I went from mortgages to being a salesperson, outside sales, to
Right.
doing something completely different.
Right.
So I've always been open to other opportunities, but I've always listened to other people too. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
That when other people tell you like, hey, this might be a good thing, even though you don't know it, you might want to try it and it might work out.
Yeah, I say something. You never know what's around the corner until you get around the corner. You know?
Yep.
And you know that like growing up on the East Coast, it would be foggy when it was foggy out.
Yeah.
And you were like, I cannot see around the corner. And I think it's from Napoleon Hill. He says, you never know what's around the corner until you get around the corner. I remember that vividly thinking, oh, you don't. You
don't.
never know. You never know. I had a conversation last night with a buddy who was asking me about a career that I was in prior. And he was like, man, you think I should do it? I'm like, you just never know, bro. Like, just
Try it.
give it a shot. And if I said, worst case scenario, you quit. And you add another feather to your hat. Like,
Yep.
just quit. Like, so I like that. I like that advice.
Yeah.
Mother of 2 daughters.
That's me.
And what's your oldest sister? You said was 12.
12.
And your youngest
and
is
going on 5, but she's like 40.
Okay,
We
got
call
it.
her auntie. Anybody that knows me knows we call her auntie.
Auntie. Okay, got it.
She's auntie. She's grown.
Got it. And you said some of your hobbies are yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga.
Yoga. I did, and I need to kind of get back into my practice, but yoga is a foundation
Okay.
kind of for me, even 10 years ago.
Okay.
Just going through like a lot of transition, and I needed to like lower my anxieties
Yeah.
and learn how to be present. And
Got
it took
it.
me on a whole spiritual journey that I
Really?
wasn't anticipating, but I did. I mean, I was 4 days a week hot vinyasa flow
Okay.
for a long time.
And you feel like that was a big assistance to you said anxiety.
Totally.
How about focus? Focus as well? Or is that something that was different?
You know, I think the focus came later.
Okay.
For me, I was in transition, being laid off. How I've got a child, my brain is going crazy.
That's a big one.
How do I figure out? And there's nothing you can do. You
Yeah.
can't speed up life. You don't know what's around the
Which
corner.
we want to do, right? Which we want to do
So
for sure.
I did. I started going to yoga, and it was just a way to be like in the present moment. And I learned at that moment, like I don't need to think about anything else that's outside of these doors or
Yeah.
on this map.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so that just it really became the foundation of my life, honestly.
So your yoga practice, and I asked that because when you said anxiety, I know a lot of people battle with anxiety. It's probably one of the biggest things. And I've heard anxiety is thinking about what's tomorrow, like what's in
Yep.
the future.
Yep.
And depression is what you think about in the past.
100%. I say that all the time.
So it's funny that you talked about being present in yoga. Do you think that is a byproduct of yoga, or was it your personal byproduct of yoga? Like, do you think that's like if someone was like, hey man, I really have anxiety, you're like, hey, get into yoga.
No.
Okay.
Yes. I would say it's a byproduct of the practice.
Okay.
Because it is a practice, and you show up every single day learning how to be present. You just don't show up and like, today I'm present. The teacher tells you be present in the moment, and you're like, I can't because I've got all these outside noises. It's a practice. You learn how to then become present.
To get to that point.
Yep.
Got it. And then how long would you say it took? Just because, like, you know, someone's battling, and I hear anxiety more often than I like to hear. Like,
Sure.
I hear people say, "Oh, I'm anxious. I'm like, watch."
It's a buzzword.
One, watch what you say to yourself.
Yep.
Right. Like,
yep.
you go, "Oh, I am." You're like,
or
you're kind of affirming that.
Yep.
You're kind of affirming that thing. You know, like I would say, "Oh, I'm not really good at math." I say that all the time. Well, guess what? My brain's like, "You're not good at math." Dummy, stupid. It's like, yeah. So watch what you're affirming. So I hear people say that a lot. But you felt like the practice over time took you. How long do you think it took you of being in that practice of yoga before you were able to calm the mind enough to learn how to
years?
Okay, got it.
Because life doesn't stop happening just because you're practicing yoga.
In fact, I think when you go to do a practice that helps you, I think it goes, oh, you really think you're going to do well now? Let me give you some more things. Yeah.
Yep. Let me give you some more things.
Right.
It's always testing you to see if you have really gotten to the point that you're getting to, or you're trying to, or you feel like I finally got it figured out, and it's like, let me add one more thing. So I felt like yoga was that constant reminder to just get back to self, get back to center. And that's when I ended up finding that I was going 4-5 times a week because I ended up craving that moment where I could shut down everything and just, especially as a mom, and I was a working mom, like this was just my moment.
Yeah.
And I don't have to, sometimes I would go to boot camps or other things, I'd become competitive.
Yeah.
And yoga, I just kind of found like, I don't have to, she's standing on her head.
Right.
But I don't have to. I don't have to get what I need to out of this.
You were able to grasp your own flow even in a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. You know, I think, I have a competitive nature.
Sure.
Go figure. And I know that there's a level where I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend of mine who asked me mad times, Robert, asked me mad times to work out with him. And he says, what are you, scared? And I'm like, what could I be afraid of?
Sure.
I'm not competing with you. Now, he's much stronger than I am.
Yep.
So then I think he thinks I'm like scared. I'm like, no, I just don't care to
compete.
I don't care to lift that way anymore either. Like, I don't need to impress anybody. And I know he wants to work out because he just wants to, like, the brotherhood.
Sure.
But I don't care to put that much weight up anymore. Like, anyway.
I get that.
Yeah, it's like finding your own flow and being okay with yourself, I think, is a big one.
Huge.
Yeah, I think it's big. So yoga practice.
Yeah.
And you said you're a soccer mom.
I am. My daughter plays club soccer. So anyone that has kids in the club sport knows that's a part-time job.
Yeah.
So it's not a hobby, but it became a hobby because it's just what I do now.
You had to hop into that full force.
Full force.
Did you play soccer? Is that how she plays soccer? No.
I took her to dance, and then she one day was like, I'm done. I don't want to play dance. And
Did you dance?
I did dance.
Okay, got it.
And my daughter was 3, and I'm like, what do you do with a 3-year-old? And so there's just soccer.
Right.
And she just never wanted to do anything else.
That's her thing.
From 3 years old.
3 to 12.
3 to 12.
Got it. So is she pretty competitive?
She's great.
Oh, really? I love that.
Yeah.
Way to own that too.
Yeah,
some parents would be like, oh, no. She's great. She's great. That's big.
She's great.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
she's a
that.
beast. And
Shout out. What's your last name? What's her first name?
Ariana.
Shout out to Ariana.
Yeah, Ariana's dope.
Yeah, that's love.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. Yo. I love to hear that. She's great.
She's
dope.
All in one.
Man, that's it. You hit the jackpot. You hit the jackpot.
I did.
So outside of you doing yoga, being a soccer mom, you said you like adult coloring books.
Yes.
Is this? I'm not laughing at you doing adult coloring books. I just don't know what an adult coloring book looks like.
Oh.
Like, in my head, it went totally the opposite direction of what it probably
can be
is.
a lot of things. There's adult coloring books for adults.
Okay.
I mean, my uncle has sent me some that I thought were a little offensive.
Yeah.
They're like political,
Right.
And you're like, okay.
Got it.
But so I like things that are. So my biological father is an abstract artist.
Okay.
And so I grew up. Even though I was in Rochester, I would go see my father in Manhattan.
Okay.
And I grew up with art everywhere.
Yeah.
So easels, Sade,
Got it.
incense, you take a corner, let your hair
like
be
that.
big, do your thing.
Okay.
Very eclectic person.
Yeah.
So I find that it brings me just kind of, I can put on music, everyone sleep, I might have some tequila,
Right.
and I can just find like a real I have like this psychedelic kind of coloring book. Yeah, it's like mushrooms and all these other things. And you can just kind of like
flow,
chill.
Yeah, and that's so that's a space for you of like safety or almost like peace.
Yeah, it's like decompressing.
Okay. Got it. Adult coloring books.
Yeah, I get you one. I'm gonna find you one.
I'll take one. It might not ever get colored in, but
you watch.
I might though. I think it sounds like if I was to ever get an adult coloring book, my thought was I probably need to be like on an edible.
You might. I didn't say I wasn't. I just said I was doing adult coloring books. I didn't say.
I just like that the connection between your head and your hand. Even that like sound of coloring something is almost like rhythmically like hypnotic.
Yeah. The shading, you get the different colors, you just get to do your own thing. But yeah, you could be on an edible.
I could be. I mean, it probably would be. So you feel like I feel like the yoga practice and the adult coloring book, and then you let it into journaling, almost all kind of follow that same flow.
It's kind of the theme.
Okay.
I think of my life.
Yeah, okay. Got it. And then I would say like right into the next one. You got yoga, you got adult coloring books, you got journaling. And then when I asked you for a memorable quote or saying, you said, I am limitless potential, which is a Buddhist practice or nature.
Yeah, it's part of Buddha nature.
Got it. I mean, it sounds like those are all things aligned. Are you a Buddhist? Would you say you're a practicing Buddhist?
I am a practicing Buddhist.
Okay, got it. No way.
Yeah.
Awesome. How long have you been doing that?
Since I started yoga.
Got it.
Yeah. And I don't negate like Christianity or anything like that. I feel like Buddhism is a philosophy.
Okay.
And you can apply it to every single religion. So I still believe in God. I still believe in Jesus. But Buddhism, my mother told me that I was nicer once I started practicing.
Well, and do you think that's nicer? Do you think when someone says that to you, right? Obviously they're talking about you outwardly, right?
Yes.
Like you're nicer. But do you think it was nicer to yourself, and that's why you showed up in the world nicer?
Probably. More accepting of just that we're all so different. And like I have to give everyone the opportunity to show up how they want to be. You may not react the way I want you to, may do what I want you to do, but I have to essentially just accept that that's.
I think that's big. I think there's so much that was in your bio of discovery around you. So, like I said before, I know April in passing.
Sure.
We worked at the same company, and I didn't know her at that time.
No.
She was just telling me how I was the big guy at work. I was the big guy.
All the ladies used to watch him walk down this long aisle. You were bigger, but you were still Khalil. But all the ladies he would walk down, and everyone would see him, and that's how we knew Khalil was at work.
I'll take it. For all those ladies who
all the
back
ladies.
then, I am single, just let you know.
All the ladies.
But that's funny. I was like 60 pounds heavier at the time. And I remember like holding on to my pants. I don't know if you remember, like I was holding on to my not holding on to them like physically, but I was holding on to them because I know I didn't want to buy a new wardrobe.
Okay, because you knew you wanted to lose weight.
I knew I was going to continue to lose weight. So I'm walking through the office with, dress pants like hammer pants. And so, and I was so laser focused at the time when I was at Chase. That's my last corporate job. And I knew I was there for a short time. Like I was like, I'm going to get $30,000 out of this job. Okay. And I'm leaving. And I'm out. It. So when you saw me, she was like, you would just be walking like
straight down.
Like no looking around, no just going to your desk, working. And it's true because I was on a timeline of, I got to get the hell out of here. I had written myself a letter. Ooh. And my buddy Ray had threatened me.
Ray.
Yeah, you know Ray, right?
I know Ray.
Ray threatened me and said, hey, if you don't write that letter, I'm gonna punch you in your face. And so I wrote the letter that day, said, this will be my last job. I'm leaving here. Freedom is on the other side. I gotta go. And I dropped it on his desk.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, your last day is, I think it was Monday.
Okay.
And that was it.
I love that.
Yeah, right? Like, shout out to Ray. Shout out to Ray. I'll never forget that, Ray. I have goosebumps thinking about it.
I love that.
I'll never forget him being like, you got to get the hell out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go. Like, just go.
He knew.
He knew. And it set forth some big changes in my life, so.
Shout out to Ray.
I know him since 7th grade. Since 7th grade, yeah. No Ray since 7th grade, yep.
Okay.
I'm the reason he's in Arizona.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The lady that brought me here, I just sold her a house. She's closing
next
week.
No way.
So it's like.
Full circle.
Yes. You gave me housing.
Right. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's dope.
That's awesome. That is awesome, yo. Shout out. What's her name? Her first name.
Rashandra Carnes.
Rashandra. Shout out to you. Okay, we got quick 6. Okay, so this is just like a quick 6 questions about you to kind of get the people to get to know you. I know we did a good bit just now. I think this tequila had us ready to go. So, what's your favorite music genre?
Hip hop.
Okay, hip hop. Okay, all right, hip hop. And then the question that we always ask: what are your top 4 hip hop artists? This is your Mount Rushmore. You got 4. Now, before she answers, in the chat, in the comment section, I want you to put your top 4. Put your top 4. Listen, it's your top 4. Okay, your Mount Rushmore. I got my own Mount Rushmore. She's gonna have her own Mount Rushmore. Every guest is gonna have their Mount Rushmore or something. But you got your top 4. Top 4. Your Mount Rushmore hip hop.
I might surprise you. I think everybody knows it's gonna be your Jay-Z and your Biggie.
Jay-Z and who?
And Biggie.
Okay, Jay-Z and Biggie.
Like those are just
winners.
Top 2.
Winners. Okay, Jay-Z and Biggie.
But for me, I'm a big Jeezy.
Oh yeah.
Like he's up there for me.
Yeah.
And Ludacris.
Okay, yeah.
I love a good Ludacris.
Got it.
I don't know. I don't know if I was like split between my north and my south, maybe because of college
That's what it sounds like. That makes sense.
Maybe my exposure.
That makes sense.
That's where those are my go-to. It's always like New York or, like
Got it. Where's Howard?
Hampton? Virginia. We're going to get you together. We're going to get them together.
Yeah. I have friends that went to both, and that's why I always get them mixed up. And they both start with an H, and they both have blue, right? They're both blue?
We're blue and white.
Are they both blue, though?
Okay. I try not to talk about Howard a lot.
I mean, I have no dog in the fight, but so all right. So I like your top 4: Biggie, Jay-Z, Biggie, Jeezy, and Ludacris.
I love that.
That's a great one. I think, I remember a friend of mine named Ryan when I worked at the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
He would always be talking about Ludacris is the best. Ludacris is the best. I'm like, bro, he okay. Like he's okay. And then whatever that album was, Chicken and Beer, what's it called?
Okay, yes.
Is that the name of the album?
Yes.
He was like, you gotta listen to Chicken and Beer. And I remember like owning that one. And I had never owned the Ludacris album.
You got to see he was like a good lyricist.
I was like, yo. It was a good one.
It was a good one.
All right, so I know you're a foodie. And so I'm gonna ask you your favorite food, but your death row meal. All right, so your death row meal is like, you can pull food from anywhere. I don't care where it's from. It could be like, oh, I got this on campus. I had this when I was living in West Palm. I had this when I moved there. It's like, what's your death row meal? Like, this your last meal?
Oxtails or rice and peas.
Oxtails and rice and peas. That's a good one. You got Caribbean roots?
I'm from New York.
But do you have Caribbean roots yourself?
Really,
got it.
Really.
Yeah.
Just because, I feel like if you're from New York, like you brush
up against it constantly. Sure.
It's part of the life. But
oxtails, rice.
That's my last rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
Some cabbage.
Some pigeon peas. Man, pigeon
some
peas.
Cabbage and some plantains.
Yeah, that's a good meal.
I'm out.
That's a good meal. I like that. I like that. I now know your drink of choice, but what's your favorite watering holes, like local watering holes?
Well, they closed it down recently. So shout out to the former Z Tejas because we love you.
Man,
that was
a staple.
That was a staple.
It's
like an era.
Yeah, it's an era.
It's an era.
It's an era. And then it was funny because for those who've been going to Z Tejas for all these years, it was like the spot before going out for years, like in our younger time, like 20s.
Yes.
And then it was like
nothing.
And then it came back. And then I came back from being in Jersey and I drove by and I was like, no signs, no, it was done.
Nothing.
Done.
Just shut it down.
It's sad. They were trying to make it happen, but it seems like there's a void in the opportunity to make something happen. So.
Yeah, I think everything in between just didn't work out. So.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Z Tejas, and then your drink of choice is
tequila.
Tequila. I got into tequila in 2020. How long you been into tequila?
I don't even know when it started. I don't. I didn't drink it for a long time, and I felt like vodka stopped working. So then I like,
stopped working.
It just stopped working.
Stopped working in what way?
I don't know. The party just didn't party.
Yeah, got it.
Moved on.
And in 2020, I was a big Ciroc drinker.
I think that's what happened because Ciroc kept feeling like it just kept getting
different. It was losing its quality.
It was losing something.
Yeah.
They were spending it more on baby oil.
They were doing a lot. Something was different. So so the pandemic comes along, and I'm like, you had 2 opportunities on the pandemic. Everyone probably remembers this if you were obviously here. Was you had to basically shit out of the pot, and it was health wise, right? And I've been into health probably my whole life, but I remember thinking can I consume a different alcohol that would be more conducive for me getting better results?
Okay.
So I go to Total Wine, and all the people at Total Wine are former bartenders, are former people that like work in the industry, like really work in alcohol, not like, oh, I just work here because
I just
I
pour
got a
drinks.
job. No, like they really are like connoisseurs of some of the alcohol. So I asked this guy, I'm like, hey, I want to get into something new, and he's like, well, what do you drink now? I'm like, I drink Ciroc. He was like, well, you work out, and I was like, thanks, I do work out. And he was like, are you really concerned? I said, I really just want to find something that doesn't make me feel bad. He was like, you got to try tequila, and I was like,
No.
because I'm thinking, what you thinking? I'm thinking
Patron.
I'm thinking college shots, tequila that's warm in a little plastic, shot glass. I'm thinking, no, I'm good. He was like, no, you've had a bad experience with tequila.
Okay.
Try this. And he gave me a recipe for a skinny margarita, right? Which I know sounds so manly of me.
That's okay.
But I drink skinny margaritas every opportunity I can.
I love it.
Like, I just don't like a lot of sugar in my stuff.
Yeah.
I like water mostly. And so I got into tequila, and it's been like a way of life for me now.
I love it.
It's a game changer. So we on the same page with that. We on the same page. I have a question. I'm gonna switch gears and go back a little bit.
Okay.
I want to know, growing up, what were your favorite cartoons?
So I think I said earlier is I watched a lot of Rugrats.
Okay.
I did after school care, so they used to play Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons, yeah.
Um,
Shout out to Tiny Toons.
Shout out to Tiny Toons.
Man.
I think that was
it?
I think
Those
off
are-
the top,
those are
those are
ones?
like my ones.
Man, Rugrats I could never get into.
I didn't really get into them.
Yeah.
It was just I did after school at the YMCA,
Yeah.
so I just watched
Whatever's
whatever
going on. Yeah,
what was
yeah,
ever
yeah.
going on.
Yeah. I feel like Rugrats, the way it was illustrated, was weird to me.
The whole thing was weird.
Yeah, it was an interesting show, and
The whole thing was weird.
yeah, I just didn't understand, like, it never appealed to me. I might have been,
It's like, what's going on here?
yeah, I might have been older too at that time. I just didn't like, I really don't mess with this, so.
I don't
All
blame
right,
you.
so Rugrats and Tiny Toons.
Yeah,
Tiny
I played
Toons are classic.
I'm an 80s, but I played outside.
Yeah, I would say that all the time.
I played outside.
I say that all the time.
I rode my bike. I climbed trees.
Yes.
We played red light, green light. Like we played outside. So I think that's why it's limited. 'cause
Yeah,
it was
out in the
go
streets.
outside.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, and then last one for your quick six is, who are your favorite comedians or your Mount Rushmore? So that's your top four comedians.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle
is
big
like
one.
number one.
Yes. Okay, I love Chappelle.
Kevin Hart.
Yep.
I love Kevin Hart. I love Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
I would say like, can we count Will Smith, like
Why not?
Fresh Prince, as a comedian?
Why not?
I feel like I grew up on him. He was funny. To
He
me.
was He was funny. I mean, he's morphed so many times, right? He's reinvented
Yeah.
himself so many times. But I remember Will Smith being funny.
funny.
And obviously that debut episode of The Fresh Prince,
Yes.
when he was like knocking on the door and he had the Jordans on.
He was just funny.
He was really funny, and I remember him being. I always thought that he was. It's funny him and Martin do Bad Boys, right? All the Bad Boys series, but I always felt like Will Smith was really borrowing a lot of Martin's way of humor.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I always felt like, not that he was like a broke man's Martin, but he was never.
He played off of it.
He played off of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
To
the
me,
silliness.
To me, it was similar, and I like I like Fresh Prince, but so Chappelle, Martin, Kevin Hart, and Will Smith.
I'm gonna go with those.
Okay, I like that. I like
And a
that.
Bill Bellamy.
A Bill. Man, have you seen Bill lately?
No, I haven't.
No, I think he came to stand up live. Maybe like I didn't go see him, but maybe like I was out of town. Maybe like a month ago he was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
I
haven't
just
seen him.
remember him as stand up when I was younger.
Yeah, he
like-
was good then for sure, and he was a lot of movies and all that stuff. So, all right, we're gonna switch gears. You
Okay,
ready?
let's.
April.
Oh boy.
Didlake.
I gotta get my tissues ready.
Nah.
I need another one.
What are you grateful for today?
Ooh, I was grateful for a lot of things. Self-awareness. Yeah, I feel like I'm very self-aware
Okay.
in this season.
What does self-awareness mean? to you?
This might sound cocky, but like
No.
I'm very aware like how dope I really
I
become.
love that. I 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 love that.
Like knowing myself, like knowing like how far I've really come, knowing like my background, knowing that I've overcome a lot of
Yeah.
shit that people I don't think would ever know. So if people that know me, like know even who I was when I pulled up here in my
Yeah.
two-door Civic would be like, oh, I never thought.
Yeah.
I knew she was good, but I didn't
Right.
think she'd be this good.
This good.
So yeah,
I love that.
the self-awareness to be able to say like, yeah, girl, you good.
Yeah, I'm dope.
I'm dope.
No, I think that's big. I don't know if many people own that part of themselves. And you said
Sure.
like not to be like cocky or whatever, like arrogant or whatever. Like those words, I think suppress who we really are often. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
We're so hard on ourselves. Well, at least I know I was so hard on myself and always not feeling like I had really reached where I want. I was always like chasing something else. So
Yeah.
to now kind of be at a space where I'm like, I kind of did it. I kind of
Yeah.
did what I said I was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that type of self-awareness
Yeah, yeah.
is where like, man, you know what? I have a lot more to offer. Friendships, as a mom, family,
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a
I
good
think that's
space.
big. Self-aware and knowing how awesome you are.
Yeah.
How dope you are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. How do you think you achieved, like, you're grateful for self-awareness, one, the ability to be in gratitude, but the other thing is, like, how did you come to a space of, like, I'm aware that I'm dope? Like,
People around me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've always had a good, even if I'm not friends with those people today,
Okay.
I do feel like I've always surrounded myself with other people that have kind of poured into me
Yeah.
some way, that have been like, yeah, you might be in a failure right now, but like, girl, you've always bounced back. Like one
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
girl called me the bounce back queen.
oh, that's big.
Like 6 years ago, and I was like, "Is that how people see me?" Like, I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
tired of bouncing. First
Yeah.
of all,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was things like that where my own friends would just kind of tell me like, "You'll be all right."
Yeah.
because you always all right.
It's funny when you say that because, you know, sometimes people look at you a certain way, like,
Yeah.
oh, you got it. You be like,
I don't.
bro, I'm just as vulnerable as you. Like, something that people assume often that I'm better at certain things than I am.
Sure.
Right? And I'm like, but I'm not. And they're like, but it's you. You're like,
I know.
I'm just as much of a human
Yep.
as you. I feel the
Yep.
same anxiety, pain,
Yep.
nervousness, unsure,
Yep.
maybe it's gonna work,
Yep.
sleepless nights,
All that.
uneasiness. And they're like, no, but it's you. Be like,
I understand
Yo.
that. Thank you for having so much faith in
oh
me.
my, yeah.
Thank you for having so much.
I'm like,
faith
I
in me.
appreciate you believing, but it'd be times where I'll be like, I don't know.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So to get to that point, is big. I'm glad that you can have that and have that self-awareness, and I love what you're grateful for. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. How old are you?
43.
43. Okay. And how's it feel to be 43?
Amazing.
Okay. Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Well-
40s are like it.
Yeah.
40s are it.
Yeah.
40s are like, when I turned 30, like about 35, I was like, okay, 30s are it.
Yeah.
Because 20s are trash. Like, they're not trash, but
Yeah.
they're just like, it's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of
But
interesting
40,
things.
I was kind of like, I felt like as even in my career, people started looking to me as an adult.
Okay.
It wasn't like, oh, you're still in your 30s, you're like a baby. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm like a grown ass
Yeah,
woman, like a
grown-ass woman,
whole woman.
Yeah.
So I think the perception at 40 is like that you're an adult as well.
Got it.
But I feel like 40 is great.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I still feel like I'm not an adult.
I don't want to.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm an adult still.
You don't have to grow
I
up.
feel like I don't know. I feel like I never know what is going on, almost.
That's great.
You know, and I think it's also like leaping into new things. Like obviously, like this right here, I'm a rookie again, right? So every time I enter into
That's
a new
great,
rookie
though.
spot, I'm a child again. Like I'm
like
a
it, yeah.
novice again. You know, so
Totally.
So 40s is a
40s
good
is
spot.
it though.
Yeah.
Because you're confident and like you don't care so much about people's opinion.
Yeah, I would say that for sure.
That's the part that I feel like, nah.
But why? Like why do you think at 40? Why do you think at 40s? Do you think it's like you don't care as much? I'm gonna turn this light on.
You've had so many, you have your own story now.
Okay.
Well, for me, I have my own story. I have a history of failures and successes.
Yep.
So what you think about my choices, I've already proven that I can figure it out.
Yeah.
So, and I don't need, your opinion does not necessarily hold as much weight.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, 40s is definitely it's a cool perspective, you know, because you have so much life behind you. and then hopefully you have so much life in front of you. But it feels like a bit of a sweet spot, you know. And I reserve the right to say it's like because I've heard people say, yeah, once you hit 50, you like. And you're like, oh, really? Like, I think it's like...
I might feel that way every time. Every decade.
And that'd be beautiful, right? That'd be beautiful.
Every
decade. So 40s feels good. Feels like it's a good spot for you.
Yeah.
Got it. What was your childhood like, would you say? Like, growing up in Rochester, what would you say your childhood was like?
It was interesting. So my mom became a single parent when I was 2.
Okay.
And my mom's from Queens.
Okay.
My biological from New Jersey. She was single till she remarried when I was 9 to the most amazing person ever. They're still married.
That's big.
He's from Buffalo. Shout out to Dave Coleman.
That's awesome.
Best
Shout out
man.
to Dave
I love
Coleman.
him.
Well,
and my father's
that's beautiful.
amazing. Like, shout out to James Woody.
Right.
Like, both amazing people.
Yeah.
Just very, very different.
Yeah.
My father was the first black man to be on the cover of GQ in the 70s.
No way.
And he was in GQ like 4 times. My mom was a
that's
disco
awesome.
singer and had a record.
Right.
So I grew up with really
No
artsy
way.
people.
No way.
Yeah. So I just I grew up in hair salons. My mom was a hairdresser.
Wow.
Lots
Your
of
dad
singing.
was the first black man on GQ.
First black man.
No way.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
He traveled. He did all the big things. My mom was a disco singer. She was in a band. So I came from
They was living.
Living.
They was in the 70s living.
Oh yeah, they lived in Greenwich Village.
Oh, they were living in Connecticut, or they were living in.
They were in the city.
They were city.
Yeah,
Yo,
my parents were city
That
first.
is they was you. Yeah, that's a cool upbringing.
I was raised by pretty interesting people.
Yeah.
Just by that.
You had a big bandwidth on things. Like, you could probably see a lot of stuff that most kids your age didn't see.
My mom put me on a plane at 5 years old and sent me to LaGuardia to go see my dad. So I think people ask me, like, why are you so adventurous? Why are you so independent?
Right.
Like, have you ever... My child's about to be 5, and I would never put her on a plane to go to New York City in the 80s when they didn't have, like... TSA and they're like, just stand over here till your dad
comes.
No
cell phone.
Nothing. We're just waiting, hoping somebody shows up.
That's wild. That is wild. Wow.
So so I would just go to Manhattan and I would stay with my dad, who was an artist, right? And just like live that life as well. And then I had a great community really young. So my neighbor was Kate Anzalone, and she had 2 kids, white family, and they knew my mom was single, so they always looked out for me. They made sure I got to school. I just had really good community.
Good community for sure.
Yeah,
and diverse.
Very diverse.
Yeah,
very, very diverse.
Yeah, I wish more kids had a chance to be in diverse on both sides of the fence.
Yeah,
you know, like I think it's a big thing to allow the expansion of your thoughts and the way you see the world. I grew up in like an inner city. Yeah. And then we moved to a really affluent, almost like heavily Jewish neighborhood. Yep. And so, you know, that difference between a city that was mostly black and then moving to a city where you were going to bar and bat mitzvahs was wild.
That's,
you know, like,
that's a big swing.
And to see the value systems be so different too was big. So it's cool that you had a chance to see so much so early.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, once my mom got remarried, you know, things got a little bit more stable. Yeah. I ended up going to an all-girls Catholic school from 7th to 12th grade, but I still lived in the hood. Okay. Yeah. So it was like I lived next to Section 8 house. But I took the public bus and went to suburbs.
Isn't that?
So
we got a similar story.
I have that, you know, which I think really helps a lot.
It helps a lot.
It's like a lot of survival tactics.
It's a lot of I say code switching.
Oh, for sure.
Code switching was big. For those who don't know what code switching is when you are in some place and you need to be this black, and in another place you need to be this black. It's like your dial of blackness changes depending on where you are. And I would, my mom, you know, worked her ass off and did a lot to get me not to go to the city schools.
Sure.
And so, you know, what's funny about it is that I would come back and I was too white for my
with your black friends,
for my black friends, and too black for my white friends.
Yep.
And so that probably explains a lot about like being able to just be you, right? Like you'll learn yourself real fast when you don't know what tribe you're part of. You know what? I'll make my own tribe.
Period.
Damn this. And that's a big one. That's why I think a lot of people get the opportunity of having, it'll shape them because you won't rely on this thing, you won't rely on that thing. You'll be like, you know, I need to rely on myself.
I will do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big deal. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful upbringing. Who would you say was the most influential person in your childhood?
Oh. There's not just one person.
Name them.
My parents were huge. Like my mom is amazing.
Okay.
Just because of her strength. So my mom comes from foster care. So
no way.
You know, I just look at her as like a woman that just was super strong and overcame so much. So I feel like I always had that strength from being with like a single mom so early.
Yeah.
Whereas like my mom was the mom, but you mess with me at school, she's showing up.
Yep.
Right? So I always knew like mom's always got my back.
Big.
My father, James, is still very influential to this day because we have we're visionaries. We got big picture thinking.
Yes.
I can talk to him about a lot of things. And my stepdad, you know, I don't call him stepdad, but my dad, Dave, he brought it all together. He was like, this girl, she's got a lot of wild, but he gave me like that foundation that was like, I'm an engineer, I have a career, I built my family, I take care of things,
So he's an engineer.
Yeah, he's an engineer.
Well, that makes that kind of sense.
He's like, you know, he kept the stability, but he always really got me. So I feel like he always allowed me to be myself too. Like he just understood. Like he'd be like, I always knew you were different.
So your mom and your two dads.
My mom and my two dads.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you had a surplus of dads.
I did.
And some of us had a deficit on dads.
Sometimes it was a deficit.
Yeah.
It was some deficits at times. But you know, those make and shape you too.
They do. I could speak from experience.
Yeah.
It definitely shapes you. It shapes you in a lot of ways.
It does. You can take them there were times where me and my father, we didn't see eye to eye and we wouldn't speak for years.
Right.
And part of my practice was to recognize like, this is who this man is. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong because it doesn't align with maybe my core values or what I was taught to be my core values. And it just really allowing the relationship to be what it's going to be and take the best of it.
I mean, that says a lot. That says a lot about allowing.
I was talking to him on my way here.
That's you on the phone.
Yeah, I was like, I'll talk about that. Yeah.
I think that's big to allow. You know, there's a certain point where you like, maybe you have or haven't hit this point where you're like, kind of like raising your parents.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
And this is no slight to my mom, like, you know, but there's things you'd be like, you can't do that anymore. Don't do this, or try that. And it's a weird dynamic when well, for me anyway, I care about my mom so much. I just want to see her live as long as possible and as happy as possible as I can, whatever I can do to, you know, assist that. And it is interesting because no matter what, I'm obviously still a kid to her, you know?
Sure.
So yeah, it is. It's an interesting change.
You learn later in life why your parents act the way that they act because then you start learning about all the things that they didn't tell you about their lives when they were younger, and you're like, oh, that makes total sense. You know? Total sense.
I know that my mom is what worked for her to raise be a single parent, raising a black boy in the inner city, working her ass off to go back to school. I know she had to be a certain way, right? And that certain way allowed her to be successful.
Sure.
And then once you do that, you know, like you do an act so many times, it then becomes calcified.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what you do.
This is what you do.
But now, when you relate yourself to a world that doesn't, you don't need to you don't need to fend for me anymore, right? But you still have that. It plays well sometimes, and then sometimes it's like, oh, you don't need to do that here. Like it's you know, sometimes it's like the bazooka is needed, and then sometimes you're like, you don't need a bazooka for this. Like, just a fly swatter will work just fine. You know, it's but I respect it so much and appreciate it because I know that she had to have the bazooka ready at all times. Raising me in the way in the places that I was raised, right? So it makes sense on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
On both sides of the fence because it was, you know, ultra white on one side and then ultra black on one side. So she was always like defending, which is such an interesting.
Well, and helping you navigate that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm grateful for it. It's so funny to see what's around the corner. You know,
I like that.
It's wild. It's wild to see that. So
yeah.
Have you ever been broke or broken?
I've broke a lot of times.
Yeah. We talking about broke financially? Talking about broke?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was broke and broken when I got here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was so. I look back sometimes. I'm like, you brought a lot of those things on yourself, for sure. But yeah, not everybody. A lot of people know. I was in the industry. I got laid off all the time.
Yeah.
So you're always reinventing, retrying, taking all you got, putting things together, making sure your family has what they need, and getting right back out there though, because this only lasts but so long, right? So you got to get right back out there. And
Right.
I was fortunate enough that every time I took a step back, God really put me in a better position.
Yeah.
So that was always kind of like okay, well, we know next time. And I finally got to the point where I was like, oh, well, that just means something better's coming.
Yeah.
Like, that just means the next best thing's coming, because this has kind of been the trend. But I think broken is even more kind of traumatic than broke, like financially broke.
Yeah.
Because that takes a lot of time and effort and self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like, you're broke because you look at your bank account.
Yeah, that's easy.
But you don't really know you're broken until you maybe see how many people you've hurt, how many poor decisions you've made, or just, where you're not excelling because of your own brokenness is keeping you from really moving forward.
It's a tough mirror to look into.
It's
when
horrible.
when you're broken. And a lot of times I think you avoid the mirror. You're like, I don't even want to see myself. And I mean figuratively the mirror, but also physically the mirror. Right?
Totally.
Like, I don't look like myself. And I don't even recognize the person I am.
Yep.
What do you think you did or have done to get out of that? To let me go. Like, obviously practice. Again, we just talked about that, right? With the same thing, calcified.
Yeah.
I always say weather is daily and then climate is fixed, right?
Oh, okay.
So weather. Well, we have weather here, right, in Arizona. Well, weather, it's hot. It's like, it's hot as hell.
It's hot.
It's like, that's the climate now.
Yep.
So what changed your idea around, one, being able to navigate the weather, but then how did you change it to go, my climate is when I show up and this is how I show up in the world? Like, what do you think are some of those things that you did?
I went through, though I had the practice and I felt like the practice was that weather. I went to therapy.
Got it. Beautiful.
After my second child.
Okay.
My postpartum seemed to last really long.
Got
So
it.
mind you, I found out I was pregnant January 2020.
Okay.
So I was isolated before it even happened.
In the thick of it.
Before it even happened.
Man.
I found I was 1 month pregnant, planned pregnancy, but just like, planned the worst time in the world.
Right.
Pretty much isolated, right? With your spouse, your second grader, and your job for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Can't nobody really come see you.
No.
Especially pregnant. We can't risk it.
You can't risk it. And we had no clue. We were so
I'm not risking it.
kind of informed.
We are in this house.
Oh, yeah.
We are in this house that we just bought a month ago.
Washing off groceries. Did you do that? Wash your groceries and wash your hands and leave your shoes at the door.
Everything. I was ordering groceries, right? Because for me, I'm now protecting myself and A. And I don't know.
Yep.
So I was that parent that wasn't sending my kid to school, wasn't, I was homeschooling and pregnant and working. And so I felt like a lot of that, which was just hormonal, having a child later, my postpartum, I learned that postpartum can last up to 3 years.
I had no clue.
They send you back to work after 6 months. And
that's wild.
Yeah. Like six months, like at max, really. Yeah, max. People go back at 6 weeks if they don't have the right coverage. So 2 years, but some studies say 3 years. And
that's all hormonal. It's all hormonal?
It's all hormonal, but postpartum triggers PTSD. Yeah, so it triggers other things to exacerbate. There's like rage, OCD that women go through. I learned so many things because I didn't know, and nobody tells you. So you're like, why am I acting like this? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I not getting back to myself at all?
All hormonal.
And went to the doctor and they were like, oh, you're still within your postpartum window. And I'm 19 months postpartum. I'm like, what do you mean?
It's damn near 2 years.
Right. So I was able to take myself, luckily I had a job that gave me 6 months of 100% pay.
Wow.
And my therapist kept me out the whole time. And I went through some really, 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 really intense therapy.
Got it.
That didn't have anything to do with postpartum. It was like, it triggers PTSD. Oh, look at all this trauma you have.
I didn't know. I mean, obviously, I don't have a
Nobody tells you.
study of practice. I don't have a
Nobody
practice of
tells
this.
you.
I think I know a lot of things, a lot of stuff about a lot of things, but obviously this is an area that I don't know anything about. So you have postpartum, and my brain works on like pictures and stuff, right?
I love it.
So what I see happening is that postpartum, almost like you plug a tub,
Okay.
right? And so you have this postpartum. You're like, I didn't know all that was down there.
Yes.
Like, I had no clue. Like, it was plugged.
I didn't know why the water wasn't going down the drain.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in all this water.
Oh man.
All this muddy water, not really recognizing that this drain is completely plugged with shit.
Right. And so you went to therapy.
So I went to therapy.
Right. Shout out to therapy. I think that's big. I think a lot of times people will shy away, especially men. I think a lot of times will shy away from seeking help.
100%.
And so you went to therapy, and you, like, the practice of you being in therapy was the thing that really you think helped you the most?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, things that I hadn't told anyone, right?
Right.
You finally get to a point where you're dealing with someone and you're trusting them, and they're trying to put together, like, why do you think about it this way, that way? And then all of a sudden one day you're just like, and you just tell them all of these things, and she's like, well, this is why you deal with this way, and this is why you deal with that. So it was a moment of self-awareness. But it just made me, afterwards, I just started showing up, and I started looking at the world and the people around me so differently, and some of my own friendships, relationships so differently, because you're like, oh, I've been in this space of life because of
trauma bonding.
Yes.
That's big.
Yeah.
That is big. When you can,
and once you know, you can't unknow.
Yeah, you can't unknow. The mind, once expanded, can never return to its former form.
Yeah. So I'd say therapy.
Therapy is beautiful. It's Men's Mental Health Month.
Well,
we are in June.
Okay.
And so, I always tell people, like, I posted the other day on my Instagram, men, call your friends. It's something that the statistic was crazy. I can't remember it at the top of my head, but it was high. Like, over 60% of men die from suicide.
Wow.
And, like, what's funny, because something I enjoy so much is, like, you obviously saw Dwayne's the one who nominated you. Like, that to me is life. Like, that kind of conversation. I don't get to have it often. Like, not that I couldn't, I think I isolate myself from that. Not on purpose.
Well, and not a lot of people are as transparent as Dwayne either.
Yeah, true.
He's very
transparent. Very transparent.
Yeah, he's very open.
Yeah, and I love that about most of my male friends are pretty transparent. We like, I love you, man. Like, and it took them a long time. It took a long time for, like, my male friends. Because I was telling them this in, like, the 7th grade. Like, I love you. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Like, tell me back. Tell me back. My friends be like, oh, all right, man. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Like, all right, man. I love you. They'd be like, cool.
I just saw this trend online where men were calling their friends and saying, hey, I just wanted to call you and say good night. And the guys were
I'm not doing that, though. I'm not calling you and saying good night. Get your big ass in bed. I ain't
just thinking about
I ain't telling you good night. I'm saying, get your big ass in bed, man. We're going to talk, but it's one of those things that's beautiful. So shout out to therapy. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Great.
I love that. What's something that you put a lot of value on when you were young that you don't put as much on today?
Being perfect. Yeah. I went to a very strict, like, education.
Yeah.
All girls Catholic schools are intense.
Were they
They might as well have been.
Got it.
They might as well
They
have
was
been.
verbally
and it is,
getting you that.
It's just the standard effect. It's like the aura. It's like, when you're stepping in here, like, we are, well, for us, I went to Our Lady of Mercy, so we are Mercy girls. And you say that even in Rochester, it's like, oh, they're Mercy girls. It just, like, has this zing to it.
Yeah, this connotation to it.
It's like, you get a C, you are a failure. Like, it is just has this, like, very intense perfection to it. Your uniform and the way you show up. Right. And, I mean, we weren't even allowed to have a logo on our shirt. Like, everyone had to be the same. It was
uniform for real.
Uniform for real. We don't want you to know that yours came from Abercrombie, yours came from Walmart.
Right.
Everyone needs to look the same. We have a standard of excellence. Girls are an AP class. It didn't really matter because I felt like all the class was AP. Like, it was just very intense, and the girls were very competitive, down to, like, valedictorian, like who's got 0.00%, who's gonna be it, like
Yeah.
went through that for so long. So you were
Ultra
just
competitive.
oh yeah. Book
So
bag
perfection.
heavy, just perfection.
Yeah. Perfection.
Being the best, being competitive, being don't be down here,
Yeah.
be up
Be
here
the best.
and stay up here.
Be the best. I mean, you know, I guess there's something to be said about perfection, right? And I think perfection also sometimes is a straitjacket. You know, like the thing that had me fearful of starting this was, well, I'm going to be a rookie again.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have to start over again.
Okay.
I'm not going to be perfect again. I'm not going to be great. Like, I'm not going to be the Khalil of the industry I was just in. Like, I'm not going to be
him.
that guy. Yeah,
That
yeah.
guy.
I gotta be just a regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And so I understand what you're saying. I would say that as well. You know, in sports, perfection's a big one.
Yep.
But perfection. So no longer caring about perfection. So
Yeah.
what do you say? Like, you carry yourself now. Like, what is it? You have more flow with yourself, or
Yeah, I let things do what they're gonna do
Okay.
instead of trying to control it so much. Before it was like I have to do this, I'd have to do that. I need it to go this direction. I think a lot of that now is working for yourself. You don't have a lot of control. We're in a job, like you know what your goals are, you know what the job is, you
Right.
know what to do. Working for yourself or for now, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, what's going to happen next month?
Yeah,
You're planting
huh.
seeds all day long, right?
Right.
Hoping and planting them and watering them and talking to people and letting them know what you do and, you know, educating
Yeah.
people. But you don't really know
yeah,
if when they're going to be ready, how they're going to be ready. You just know that you're going to give as much information and be as much support, but you don't know.
you don't know the result.
And you don't know, all of a sudden I got a call today and they're somebody that I've just been talking to.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, they're ready here. You know, like
Ready to buy a house.
ready to go. You know,
That's
or you
cool.
get a phone call and it's like, hey, I need your expertise. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's my expertise?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you want to buy a,
Yes.
it just,
Yeah.
someone will call you and say, hey, I sent you a referral.
Huh.
You don't have the control. You just know I have
It's
to keep going.
I mean, I guess I never ever looked at it at that way. I think I looked at it the total opposite way. I looked at working a job as I don't have any control over anything here.
Okay.
That's how I looked at jobs.
Ultimately, yes.
Yeah, I felt like I never had control. I felt like I could always show up and be a badass at my job.
Correct.
Because I was going to be in the top 1 to 3%.
That's because
at
you had
my
control,
job,
but you had
right?
control over that.
And that was cool, but I had control over it because I was competing in a closed system.
Correct.
Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we and you got into a fight in this room, well, it's a closed system. Like, it's only me and you competing against each other, right?
Right,
But
right,
when you
right,
go
right.
out into the world, it's like, no, I'm in an open system now. So
Okay.
then there's nothing to bridle me from being whatever I want to be.
Sure.
Like, it felt like way more control when I was like,
Okay.
I don't want to do this. Like,
I don't know. I never wanted to do it.
yeah, I never want to work
I
for anyone else.
just did it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I knew what to do it well.
Yes. Yeah. Focused.
I knew what to do. I knew how to do the job.
I didn't know where I was going to put this in. This is all new, right? So
Yeah.
Dwayne leaves a question for the person coming, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
the question was, what keeps you so laser focused, right? So that was his question for you, by the way. This is all, I'm learning so many things right now. But by the way, thanks for being a guinea
Yeah,
pig.
no, I love it.
podcast.
I'm here for it.
But the question that he wanted to ask for all the people that he nominated, and obviously you're the first one, was what keeps you so laser focused?
I mean, I think naturally it's my kids.
Okay.
But before kids, it's just, I just always wanted to do well.
Yeah.
I just always wanted to do better than my family.
Okay.
You know, if
Got
I look
it.
back at like my immediate family, like they're from the Bronx.
Yeah.
They're from New Jersey.
Right. Shout out to BX.
You know, like
Shout out
this
to
is,
Jersey.
I got an opportunity to, they're from Rochester.
Yeah.
People that like know Rochester know it's not what people think it is.
Got it.
You know, it's like going to Detroit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's the butt. It's
Yeah,
together.
you mentioned that Rochester was like an industrious place. Like, you said Kodak maybe? Or
Kodak, Xerox.
Yeah.
You know, it's high crime.
Yeah.
Like,
So those were all like plant jobs. And then the plants leave. The plants are still there? No, they're gone.
a lot of them was just shut down.
Got it. Yeah. I know that's like the same thing in Camden, New Jersey. There was a
Yeah.
lot of like plant jobs. And then, you know,
It's like your Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
those little three there. And so they have some beautiful places. They have some beautiful, you know, all the trees and all that stuff. But That's not the Rochester I
Yeah.
grew up in. I didn't grow up in the suburbs.
Right.
I grew up in the city.
So doing better than where your family passed the baton. You're like, I want to do more, and that was your focus. Where your focus.
I just knew I could too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I knew I had it in me
Got
to
it.
do it.
How'd you know?
Because my dad, like my father,
Uh-huh.
James Woody, he would tell me at a young age, he was like, don't think in thousands, always think in millions.
Okay.
Everybody can make thousands,
Wow.
but not everybody makes millions. And I was like
real.
6. So
Tell you that early. Indoctrination early.
everybody
early.
can make thousands.
Yeah. But you think in millions.
He was like, but not everybody makes millions.
Nah, that's a real talk.
He has a lot of isms we joke about. He's like, some people are hammers, some people are nails.
It's real.
So I grew up with this.
These are Woody-isms?
This is Woody-isms. This is like, so Didlake was my, married name, but my Woody-isms are, that's my New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's that.
Shout out to Jersey. I didn't even know there would be that much connection. I didn't know. You don't. I saw you many years ago, and then I saw you again, and then
out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then Dwayne nominated you for this, and I get to have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
It's wild how it's not much of a
I always
not too far
had
away.
that bird that was like, look, and
Right.
he was always a hustler,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
We just,
But it's the same thing. It's the same energy.
And that's the part that like people know. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
My coming here saved my life.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I'm glad it did.
I always had the hustle.
Yeah.
I just needed to put it on
Put
the
it in
right
the
path.
and run in the right path.
So once you have that in you, I don't think you ever really lose it.
Yeah.
It's survival too. Sometimes it's, you just get it because you have to.
Yeah. You could put a lot of energy in a lot of places, but where you put it is so important.
Yeah.
You
Now
know?
I'm like hustling so my kids don't have to do all of those
Right,
things. Like
right.
I want to be that. I do want to be that family that's like, or that parent that's like, hey, you're gonna work.
Yeah.
But let me make it a little bit easier for you.
For sure,
You don't
for
have
sure.
to do all of the other things.
Well, you know what it's like. You know what it's like to grow up in a way that you're like, man, I don't want to give that to somebody else. I don't want to kick that down the road
No.
for somebody else to take on.
No.
It's a deep question to me. What do you say your biggest fear is?
Fear. Jeez. Last year that would have been a different answer. This year,
All right, you got to tell us why it would be a different answer.
because I was working for somebody else.
Okay.
I wanted my business. I was
Yep.
going through a big, like, just personal transition.
Okay.
So I didn't know, like, how things were going to play out.
Yeah.
And then the new year came and everything fell apart, but then it fell back together so fast
Yeah.
that I
Like
was like,
this new year, like
this January.
Yeah, got it.
And was
2025.
like, everything was like, phew. And I was like, damn, I don't have shit. What
like
am I
you,
gonna-
like it fell apart and then came back together. Like,
within less than 30 days.
oh, that's cool. That's
So-
cool. But you were shitting a brick when you were.
But I was, I had written all of these things in my journal in December.
Okay.
So I literally wrote, like, I want anything that's stressful and not meant for me. I was
Yep.
ready for my business to kick off. I was tired of my job, blah, 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 and everything just went like, by the 6th of January,
Right.
everything was done. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay. But by the end of the January, my business was going.
Right.
So my biggest fear now is, I guess I don't really have a big fear
Got it.
now.
Got it.
I think I'm just excited for what's next.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's beautiful. When you don't respond, but a lot of us are trauma responsive.
Yeah.
Right? So you
Yeah.
respond to fear, and I ask that question because I know a lot of us are governed, right? Like a lot of us are governed by the thing that we know could hurt us, right? It's like, well, don't jump off of that. Like life is that way.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And everyone governs you from their own fears, right? So that's why I ask you because a lot of times our fears are given to us, right?
Sure.
Like one of the books I read by Napoleon Hill, he said, watch what fears you express around your children because they'll innately pick them up, right? Like if you're like, oh no, we don't fly,
Okay.
right? And this is the thing, and culturally,
Sure.
a lot of black people don't fly.
We don't swim.
Right, we don't swim. So then you carry on this trauma that you don't even know why you have this response to this thing. Like watch the fears you express around people because a lot of times our fears are not even ours. We inherited them from somebody else.
Yeah.
So I love that you are not facing fear, not in the space of facing fear, but facing excitement.
I am.
That's a huge perspective shift.
It is.
That's big.
It really is. It feels good to be finally in that space.
Got it.
You don't just wake up saying, I'm excited for the unknown. But when the unknown has continuously shown you so much promise and like so many blessings. You're just like, well, let's go.
That's big. That's big. I like that response. What truth about life do you wish more people understood?
What truth about life? That you don't have to, that you don't have to have it all figured out to really live a happy life.
Got it.
Because I think most of us think that happiness is like something tangible. And you could still, there's been times, even in like January when everything fell apart, like I still had joy.
Yeah.
So that's probably something that I think we are just taught, like, oh, you buy a new car, you're happy, you got a new house, all these things should make you, milestones should make you happy. And like you just really don't have to acquire happiness. Yeah. You don't have to acquire peace. Yep. You don't have to acquire God's blessings. Yeah. Like you can just be.
What would you say the difference between happiness and joy are?
Ooh, happiness is, I feel, more like an expression.
Okay.
You wake up happy every day. Okay. For me, like joy is just an internal thing.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Like you just have joy because you value breath. Okay. Like joy can't really be taken. Okay. Yeah. You can have, I've seen people that are homeless that still have joy.
Joy, got it. So joy is an inner expression of yourself. It's to you. You to you. Got it. I like that. I like that expression of what you think of joy.
Yeah, because nobody can steal your joy.
Yeah. No one can steal your joy. No, I like that. I always felt like, and I agree with that, no one can steal your joy. Yeah. My philosophy on joy and happiness, I've always thought joy was just a moment. It was in the moment. It's such a present thing. It's like,
you feel joy.
It's it's right now. Like you can't shake it. It's like laughing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like laughing. I love laughing. So I ask everyone about when they come on, like, what are their favorite comedians, right? Yeah. And I told you, like, I love to joke around. Like all I want to do is talk shit. It's my favorite thing to do. It's just poke fun and not like I'm not like a person that like does pranks. Not like that. Not like I'm not the person who's gonna tie your sneakers together. I want to be in banter with you.
Oh, okay.
Like, I want to talk trash and be silly and once we get on a joke and it's good, I want to keep piling on to that joke. Like that's my favorite thing. So that joy for me is right then and there. Yeah. Nothing can take that. That's why I love comedy shows so much because it's such a present expression of a feeling. Sure. You could be at a funeral when you start laughing and you forget the tragedy because it's such a like let me wipe the slate clean. Joy's like that to me. It's like joy, you're enjoying. You're like I can't even move from it. Yeah. It's there and then it's gone. It's like a fleeting thing.
But you notice that some people like never find anything funny because they don't really have. I feel like you don't have any joy. Like you don't even have it in you to find it funny, and you don't slap back and hit back. Right. You're just a joy kill.
I don't really hang out with people like that. Yeah. I try my best to steer clear of people that are killjoys. Like no, I'm good. I don't want any parts of that. So I like that. I like your philosophy on happiness and joy. What experience do you think shaped you the most as a woman?
As a woman.
Yep. Shout out to the ladies watching. We got April giving us.
Oh, being an independent woman.
Okay. And what does that mean? Because there's so much about independent women that is like, ostracized. And then some stuff is like, well, because I want to know what you mean by independent woman.
So for me.
Okay. For you.
Being someone that can show up whole.
Okay. Show up whole.
Okay. I don't need anything from you. Okay. So I'm independent because I can just be. Okay. I don't, some people, they get into like relationships and they need each other to function, to emotionally, financially. Like there's always one that is codependent on the other. Yeah. So maybe it's not the word independent. Maybe I'm not codependent.
Maybe not codependent. Okay.
And I feel that's a word that people don't use a lot and should actually start using. Yeah. Independent woman. I feel like not being a codependent woman.
Not being a codependent woman.
Shaped me to be able to be a really great friend, support, mother, because I don't need I'm not showing up to you because I need it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
actually being my whole self.
Right.
I can learn from other people, but when you're not like, oh my gosh, I got to do and be in this space because I need this.
Yeah.
It weighs on people. It doesn't become enjoyable for people to be around you when they feel
needed. Yeah.
They feel like you're the codependent.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. I've definitely had some people in my life that were codependent.
But I had to figure that out.
Yeah.
I wasn't always that way.
You weren't always aware of it.
No.
Okay. You weren't always aware of your own codependency?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, that victim mentality.
Got
that
it.
you know, like you gotta. Once I was able to just like kind of own my own shit, fix my own shit,
Right.
own it, do it, show up.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, that was hard work.
Yeah.
And so now I'm a woman that I don't feel like anyone that comes around me is like, oh, I'm around April because she's in this because she needs it. It's like, oh, she's light. I could be around her. She's chill. It's easy to be around her because I don't feel like I'm coming into anything that needs.
Yeah, I think that your vibration doesn't say like needy. It doesn't scream that. And I talked about independence. You talked about codependence, and there's something I think that misses often is interdependence.
Ooh.
Right. So interdependence. I think I'm an independent person. I think I'm pretty.
Okay.
I can do everything I want to do for my damn self. Right.
Sure.
I don't feel like I'm codependent. I feel like I don't really need. So I get that part of it.
Yeah.
Right. But I also, in between those two polarities, right, which let's for this conversation
100%.
say they're polarities. In the middle is interdependence, right?
Sure.
So although I can do everything myself, April, I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I so enjoy partnership. I enjoy partnership so much. I enjoy, like, growing up, my mom was like, you always wanted a brother. I'm an only child, right? She's like, you always wanted a brother. Now I grew up with cousins, but they weren't my brother or sister. I love, like, there's certain things I don't even want to do if I don't want to do it with someone else, right? Like, people are like, oh, do you go to movies by yourself? I'm like, no. But do you want to see that movie though? I mean, I'll see it when it comes out on, TV or Netflix or whatever. But I'm not going to dinner by myself because I want to go to a place. I'm not doing that. I love the richness of things from me gets much richer when I do it with someone.
I love that.
The experience for me is so much better with interdependence than it is. Yeah. And I don't feel like, oh, I'm crippled because I don't want to do this thing. I actively
interdependence
choose,
is a beautiful
don't
thing.
want to do that thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to drink alone.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Everything that will follow suit with that, I don't want to drink alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a restaurant alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to movies alone. Those things don't appeal to me. It's like that doesn't appeal to me.
Some people love that, though.
Some people love it though, but not me. Like I don't love that. So I just wanted to talk about that because I know.
I think interdependence is a space that I am going to newly explore.
Okay, got it.
Like that will be a new space for me.
Yeah. The joy of watching a movie, right? Let's say Friday. That's one of my favorite movies, right? We watch Friday, right? You like Friday?
All of them.
Friday.
Not
Oh my
the second
God.
one as much, but
I like them all.
Okay.
I like them all. And me even laughing doesn't have as much richness because the frequency of someone else laughing next to me raises mine. Like it's like this, it's like a tuning fork.
I love it.
You know, like a tuning fork, right?
I do.
It's like they reverberate off of each other, right? So when having that like reverberation with someone, it's one of my favorite things in the world. Is to have that interdependence. Anyway, I just wanted to share that.
No, I'm taking that with me
Yeah.
because I, like I said, I think interdependence will be a new part of my new season.
Got it. I like that. I like that new season that you're going into for yourself.
Doesn't have to be always one extreme to the next.
Yeah. Right in the middle feels good to me anyway, right?
Well,
and it has its own limits as well, but you know.
Sure.
So, what's the biggest challenge you had since becoming a parent?
Patience. I have girls. Okay. I thought I was going to be a boy mom.
Okay.
Because I was always kind of like, kind of rough. I was kind of like with the shit. I used to go to the club with all the boys. Right. Like everybody knew, like it was coming to the club with the boys.
Right.
So I didn't feel like I had that like feminine thing. It's a lot of hugging. It's a lot of, and I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think being a parent, it was the patience. Mm-hmm. It was the ability to show up outside of yourself. Okay. Like to really look at it from, I don't want to play Barbies for 30 minutes.
Right.
But this is so important to you in this moment. This is, I could be thinking about a million of things that I probably should be getting done because of my business and my job and my this.
Right.
But like just being able to just look at someone else that like this to them is everything. These like little tiny micro moments.
Yeah.
What's 30 minutes? Like
Yeah.
we think like, oh my God, 30. It feels like a very long time when we're playing Barbies. But
Yeah.
yes, it is just those like little moments where you're like, okay, I need to take a deep breath and I can just be present right now for what you need. Pushing yourself to know like they're always watching. You know, they're always watching. Knowing that you may have to change your environment, you may have changed the things that you're going because they are watching you, and making tough decisions sometimes for your life because it's the best for them to see you in a certain space and light, and making the hard calls sometimes is hard.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's going to impact somebody else in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mindfulness in that answer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of perspective in that answer. You could tell that you take pride in being a mom.
I love it.
And the challenges of it you weren't shying from. Like you're like, I don't want to do this
at all.
You know, I think many things that we do for ourselves or others, oftentimes we don't want to do. Right? Like I mentioned this. I'll mention this a million times over. I never want to do anything that's probably positive for myself.
Okay.
Like in a sense of like I work out 4 days a week, right? And I listen to personal development every time. I usually listen to an audiobook, right? So the book I'm listening to right now is called The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. It's a book I've read or listened to probably 30 times at this point. And I only do it to pay tomorrow's Khalil.
Okay.
Right? I'm not paying anyone personally, right? But I'm paying tomorrow's Khalil, and that's like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. So hearing what you're saying is like, oh, okay, that's a part of the desire of me being a parent is, you're going to be doing things that you don't want to do
all the time
to pay for that later on, right? So
all the time.
I appreciate that perspective. And it might be on every podcast. I definitely want to be a parent. I want to be a father.
Keeping it out there, ladies.
I put hardcore, heavy. No. Seriously, I'm not pulling that back. That's a true statement. I desire deeply to be a father. I think, and so just hearing that, that's why I ask like people have children. I ask them questions like that because why not learn now? Before, right?
Yeah, it's just, I think sometimes we make it sound like, oh my God, it's this big challenge in life.
Yeah.
It's like, really, sometimes it's just a little stuff. I just want to sit on my couch and not do anything.
Right.
But now we have to color.
Right. Well, good thing you like coloring.
I do like coloring.
Good thing you like adult coloring books.
Yes. Yeah, challenge of parenting is good, though. I feel like the challenge it brings out the best in you.
Right. That makes sense. Do you have a health practice that you do, like for your own physical body? Like, do you have a practice that you do for health? I know you mentioned yoga earlier. We started getting back to it. Do you have like a practice that you do weekly or daily?
I'm a Peloton.
Okay.
So
Peloton.
Anyone that's on the Peloton. Limitless. 1982. That's me.
Limitless 1982 on the Peloton. It's competitions on Pelotons, right?
It's not really.
Oh, okay. I don't want no parts of it. Then never mind, I'm good.
I mean, you can. You could, like, you have the little leaderboard, and you can see, you can rise up above people, and y'all high five each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, but I have learned to really enjoy my Peloton, the boot camps, and all the things on there.
And that's the in-home bike. Right?
But they have boot camps, like they have strength training, they have every single.
But like
thing
it's all in your house though.
All in your house.
Okay, got it.
I have gone back to Lifetime recently because I figured now that I work for myself. Before I was doing it a lot because I worked a lot.
Right. Okay.
So it was just trying to get it in.
Yeah, get your.
Now I'm like,
in.
you need to get out the house.
Yeah.
Sis.
Yeah.
But in terms of a routine, so celery juice.
Celery juice. Okay.
Is a routine.
Celery juice. Is that daily?
Yes.
Okay.
I've picked it up, and there's times where I lapse on it and I go back and forth. But I follow a medical medium.
Okay.
And he has a whole book on celery juice.
Okay, celery juice.
And how absolutely amazing it is for your entire life. It doesn't matter what ailment, no ailments. It could be superficial. Cholesterol, heart, brain.
How much of a one you're getting organic celery?
Yes. So you have to juice, and you should drink about 16 ounces.
Okay, a day.
In the morning.
16 ounces
on an empty stomach.
How many ounces do you think this is? Is this about?
That's probably about the amount of celery juice that I drink. It doesn't taste great.
And I have to drink it on an empty stomach?
You have to drink it. He likes you to drink it water first and then drink the celery juice before you do anything else.
Okay. And so I drink this celery juice. I'm trying to figure out how to put it because I just started thinking about this thing called okra water. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
This does not sound great.
Neither does celery juice.
It's not. It's horrible.
It sounds terrible.
I've tried to do it with a green apple and some ginger, but he really, really feels like straight celery juice is better than mixing it with anything.
So this much celery juice, I'm sure you guys can see this. this much celery juice in the morning. And the reason I asked that practice is because, well, what are the benefits?
I'm gonna send you.
Yeah, send it to me.
There's so many. Like it's limitless. It's limitless. Like
celery.
It can be eyesight. It can be cholesterol. It can be diabetes. It can be brain. It can be your stomach. Like there's so much fiber in celery juice. It's like a full. He has a whole book
on celery juice. So you got into this practice of celery juice, and you're doing 16 ounces every day, no, weekends too. Okay. So how many heads of celery?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I can imagine you going to Sprouts or Whole Foods.
You should see when I order it.
And just ordering a bunch and just whole basket.
I'll have to go back. Like if I'm really, really, really being strict, I will be there 2 to 3 times a week.
I think that celery practice will probably only be on weekends for me. I've searched my practice.
Been times where I'm telling you, there's been times where there's been gaps where it's like I just stopped because I couldn't take it anymore.
I like new.
But I'm on it again now.
No,
so
and you feel the difference.
I do.
Okay. Do you see the difference? Is there a visible difference?
I don't really see a difference. Okay, but I do feel like from a gut perspective.
Oh yeah, microbiome is huge.
There's a lot of fiber.
Got it. They say that gut health is directly tied to everything. Your body health, and then also teeth, right? So mouth health is directly tied to it as well. So people who typically get cavities, I just saw this recently, people who get like constantly getting cavities, is usually their gut health that's off. Their microbiome's off somewhere or something like that. So
they need probiotic.
Yeah. So celery juice.
Celery juice.
Practice. Got it.
I've been on and off with it for like 2 years. I did his 369 cleanse.
Okay.
And that's like through the whole entire cleanse.
Celery.
You're gonna be drinking it in your sauna, watch.
Yeah, I might be. It sounds like I'd be going to the bathroom a lot when I was drinking celery juice. No?
No.
Okay. No. Good to know. No. Good to know. It seems like it would be like,
no.
Yeah.
It's not like the active fiber.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. How do you define accountability?
Just doing what you say you're gonna do.
Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
Show up the way you say you want to show up.
Yep.
Do what you say you're gonna do. And stop making a bunch of excuses of why you didn't.
So if that's accountability, how do you define discipline?
Making a plan to stay accountable.
Okay, I like that. They're twin sisters to some degree.
Yeah,
got it.
You got to have a plan.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say you have to have a plan.
Yeah, if you want to say, how do you keep yourself accountable? You didn't plan nothing out.
Yeah, that's real.
That's like I want to go to the gym, but I
didn't
to plan
to fail.
I didn't even get a membership.
Right. Yeah, you like. You mean you were getting a plane? You ain't got no ticket? Right. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Right.
How do you define love?
Oh God, I'm redefining that.
You're redefining love
now, maybe.
Yeah. Why is that? Why would we redefine it?
I think that I've learned a different love for myself versus like when I've gotten into previous relationships.
Okay.
You know, I didn't have that same self-love, so I don't think I fully understood what I was looking for or what I could give.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm in a life transition as well, so
You're reinventing.
I'm reinventing love.
Got it. So tell me the difference. Tell me then what is self-love then? Like what is self-love then to you?
Oh, just caring for yourself, being kind to yourself, not beating up. I used to be I'd be very tough on myself. I was really hard on myself. So for me, self-love is just accepting like that I'm not perfect and that I have flaws and that maybe I didn't do everything right. And being okay with that. And just finding ways to like make myself happy and not like relying on other things to maybe Band-Aid things, you know, like really that's working on the hard things and making sure that, you know, okay, that's an area of improvement, but then work on it. Right. Not just like, oh, that's an area of improvement and then
leave it alone.
Right.
Leave it alone to fester. So I asked you accountability, discipline, right? And then I asked you love and self-love, right? And it sounded like a lot of it was grace, right, with yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And I would say like grace is probably one of the highest forms of love outwardly, but also internally, right? Like loving ourselves is like giving yourself grace. Now you said something else about like, I want to be so good, I want to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's a time and a place for both of those things to exist, right?
Totally.
Because if you're too graceful with yourself, then you let yourself off the hook on stuff that you're like, no, you should have did that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So
yeah, that's true.
It's perfect because it leads me to a next question. Well, where's the balance between grace, like grace with yourself, and no, you don't get to do that, right? It's like, well, you know,
Yeah.
I decided I was gonna go to the gym, but you know, I gave myself grace and I went to Cold Stone. You'd be like, no, that's not grace. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that grace often is discretion, right? You can't teach discretion because discretion is everybody's got their own discretion. What's good for somebody is bad for somebody else, right? So, you know, where do you find that at? Like, how do you get them to be in some kind of synergy where you're not letting yourself off the hook constantly, but you're also not killing yourself because you're like, oh, I got to be perfect. Like,
well, weren't the results like kind of dictate that anyways?
I think results dictate that for sure, but it's hard to judge the journey by the result because the result is at the end, right? So you're like, I'm in it. You're like, and there's typically not just a standard scoreboard to look up to and go, oh, we're down 40 to 22. Like, you like, oh, I gotta get my shit together. Like, there's not sometimes a scoreboard in that sense, right? Like, maybe your bank account could be your scoreboard. Yeah. Maybe your car, your house, your neighborhood, or your health is a scoreboard. Sure. So that's maybe there are scoreboards that you know I wasn't necessarily thinking about when I first said that. But I have a tough time sometimes figuring out which one is grace and which one is you being soft as shit and you need to get your shit together, and be like, yep, that's enough of that.
You only like, well, I remember a lady told me like, only you know when you're sick and tired.
That's real.
And I was like, it was actually related to one of our friends in a relationship. Because I was like, I'm not saying that. She was like, only she knows when she's sick and tired.
That's real.
You can't really tell anybody. So you want to keep, you know, eating Cold Stone. Right. Only you know.
Only you know that.
Only you.
That's beautiful.
Only you.
That's beautiful.
That's up to you.
That's beautiful.
Now, if you employ a coach, a trainer, a mentor, well, then you decided to put someone in there to keep you on it. But if you're just out here, then only you know when it's time
only
to
you make that judgment.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. You are judge and jury on that one. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a question that's probably pretty deep. I think it's deep because it's a new question.
Okay.
Who do you miss the most?
Miss the most. Recently, my Nana.
Yeah.
My Nana passed away in February.
Oh.
So I miss her a lot.
Yeah.
I can just pick up the phone and call her, and it wasn't until I got even like maybe the past 2 years, like I really realized like, man, my Nana, she's known me since I was 6, you know, with my stepdad. I'm like, man, she really knew me.
Yeah.
Like she really got me. She's been watching me. So now as an adult, when I pick up the phone, it's a different it was a different conversation. It was an adult conversation with an 80-something-year-old lady who's like, I know you. Yeah. So I miss having those conversations, being able to pick up the phone and have those conversations.
She passed away, you said, in February? So recently, what was her name?
Willadina from Mississippi.
Oh man, you know it be them names too. You know what I mean? Shout out to Willadina.
Well, shout out to Willadina. Yeah, she's a real one.
Shout out to Willadina.
She was a real one.
That's beautiful. How old was she?
She was 89.
89.
She had lung cancer, 2 rounds of chemo during COVID, and then ended up passing away a couple of years later.
Man.
And my grandfather's still around.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He'll be 93 in August.
Oh, that's awesome. Is he in the SIP too? He in Mississippi or is
no? So they came back upstate. They came back to New York once they got older, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So they just wanted to be close to the family or whatever. But he's from Jackson.
Jackson, man. I've been to Jackson.
He's from Mississippi.
I've been to Jackson. Shout out to Willadina.
Coleman.
I would tell you, I miss my grandmom deeply too.
I love that.
Ernestine.
Oh, see?
Yeah, that's the name. Virginia. You know what I'm saying too? So Ernestine, they be having them names.
Where in Virginia?
I couldn't tell you where, but I can tell you a couple of things. Is that there's something called a loving story about the first interracial couple in Virginia. That's my family.
Oh, sweet.
And so you can see you see her obviously over there, but Native American in her, which is, it explains to me now. After she passed, we found a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, this is why my face looks like that. Yep. And my cousins, I'm like,
same. That's how my mom and my biological father, my grandparents. I'm like, oh, this makes sense.
That makes sense.
Like, why do you look
Makes sense. Yeah. Irish in her, and she passed in her 90s. Like I don't know, it was like 90. Ernestine. So my dog's name is Teeny.
Okay.
So they used to call my grandma Teeny for short. They used to call her teeny tiny with the big fat hiney. That was her riddle. That was her riddle.
I love her.
And I was a kid. You know, I'm a child hearing teeny tiny with the big fat hiney. So I know what it's like to have the comfort of a grandmother. Hopefully you find comfort in your memories and
she's amazing.
And all the things that you were able to do with her and have the time with her.
Her legacy is just like,
it's big.
it's just so amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm honored.
It's beautiful. You got 80
she
plus
passed
years.
the torch to me like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
You got 89 years. Well, she got 89 years on the planet, and you got 40 something years with her.
Yes.
I think that's beautiful.
Feels
There's
a
nothing
lot.
like that. I feel like my grandmother was the last person I got to be a boy with. To everyone else, I'm a man.
Okay.
You know, to everyone else,
Yeah.
I'm a big, strong man.
Yeah. Not grandma.
Not to her.
Shout out to grandmas.
Yeah, shout out to grandma.
We took the shot for the
Yeah,
mamas.
And my grandma was always with a Budweiser. She kept a Budweiser, and she had a straw because she a lady. You know what I'm
I know,
saying?
that's right.
She had a straw, and it was the red and white bottle.
I'm
You know what
not
I'm saying?
mad at her.
Yeah, she had that one.
I love it.
She had that
I
one.
love it.
So we got a few more, and then we'll wrap up here
Yeah.
soon. What goal haven't you accomplished yet?
I would like to get into investing.
Okay.
In real estate.
Okay.
So I have not yet.
Yep. Real estate
So,
investment.
Like,
Okay,
just
got
like
it.
on the development side.
Got it.
So that's.
I have a
like-
connection. We should talk. We should definitely talk.
we're
We should definitely
gonna-
talk.
here we
Yeah,
are. Here we are.
that's crazy that you said that. It's
Yeah.
crazy you said that. For some reason, today when I was working out, I thought about that. Well, as I got into the sauna, I thought, oh, I wonder if she'd be. I didn't even think, it wasn't you first. I was thinking, oh, what if I came up on this much money? Right. And
Yeah,
I was
what
like,
would I
oh, I
do with
wonder. And I was like, oh, I've invested. And I was like, oh, I wonder if April does real estate investment. Literally the next thought. So
That's on the.
got it. So
the
real estate
plan.
investment, okay. And then, what do you think you're doing today for your 80-year-old self?
Building a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I can look back and give to my children
Yeah.
and their children
Yeah.
and their children. Even like my current house, like making like for me,
Mm-hmm.
that house was a long-term investment.
Yeah.
It's for them to always have a place to
I
come
love
back
that.
to.
I love that.
To have a family house. Like we didn't have family real estate.
Yeah.
So I want to look back and just be like, look what
Yeah.
we've done, and now I've taught you how to do it, and now you know how to do it, and all that.
Yeah, I think that's big. Have you seen, it's called Explained on Netflix? They're like little 20-minute documentaries, 18-minute documentaries. Okay. I just canceled my Netflix, so it's crazy because I watched it so much. Like I
Okay.
watched it. So the first episode, you got to watch it, right?
Okay.
You got to watch this. Okay. It's called
Explained.
Racial Wealth Gap. And it explains how we were redlined and unable to buy property and all
Yep.
those things. And so the fact that you're owning property, and it talks about how the percentage of people that have become wealthy beyond from
Fastest-
buying real estate.
Fastest way to wealth is real
Yes.
estate.
So the racial wealth gap, you got to watch it. It's unexplained. It's like 19 minutes. It'll change.
Yeah.
And you think 19 minutes, you're like, nope.
No.
It's like done. And it's so poignant and so
Okay.
almost revealing. I tell everyone gets to watch Racial Wealth Gap Unexplained.
Okay.
It is profound. It's absolutely profound.
I love that.
How do you want to be remembered?
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit wild.
Making me take a shot on a
Little
school
bit.
day. On a school day.
Make you take a shot on
Right.
a school day. Like I don't want those things to ever leave. Like
Yeah.
I want to even like people, I know like I may take pictures on Instagram
Right.
and for whatever we're doing. I don't want it to ever be taken too seriously.
Yeah.
Because like life is short.
Yeah.
Nobody gets
True.
out alive anyway.
No one
so
gets out alive.
I
That's
do want
real
people
talk.
to say like, man, she was great and
Yeah.
she was all these other things. But I do want people to say like, she was funny as hell.
Yeah, I think that's humor is such a big one, man.
She was
It's such a beautiful thing to have humor, but I like the way you want to be remembered.
Yeah, funny, inspiring.
Yeah, yeah.
I want people to feel inspired. I think when I do real estate now, I feel naturally like people don't necessarily know that they can do what they can do.
Yeah.
And then you're showing them like, let me show you how you actually can make this work out.
Yeah.
So I like, I want
Imparting
people,
wisdom on people.
Yeah, I love that.
Funny, upbeat, silly,
Make it-
a
make
little
it-
wild.
Make a little wild.
Make people take shots on school nights. It's
and,
wild.
and making and helping to make shit happen.
I get it. So, what 3 books do you think everyone should own or
boy.
study?
The 4 Agreements
Okay.
is like put that in your car. That's just like a back pocket.
Yeah.
You should have it at all times.
I have an actual one that's like the size of my phone.
As you should.
Yeah, I do have one.
Recently, it's been Let Them, Mel Robbins.
Okay, it just came out? Not too long ago?
Yeah, not too long
ago. It's a green and white. Yeah. I've seen. It's been on my list. It's been on my list, and I haven't pulled it up.
You need to.
Okay.
It's a game changer.
Let Them by Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
4 Agreements. Okay.
And her podcast is just amazing.
Yeah. She's awesome.
That
Shout out to
book
Mel
is
Robbins.
shout out to Mel.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. So that's one, and the Bible.
Yeah. I love that.
I feel like that's one that it never gets old.
Yeah.
It never gets old.
Time tested. Best-selling book in history.
The problems are still the problems.
Right, the same.
It's still the same.
Best-selling book in history.
Yeah, those are my 3.
Best-selling book in history. I like that. So we got the 4 Agreements, Let Them by Mel Robbins, and the Bible.
And the Bible.
Okay, beautiful. Before we get to the last part, which is nominating your people, right?
Okay.
I want to say to the real family, that's what we calling y'all now, okay? The real family.
Real
okay?
family.
The real family. If you made it this far, I want you to write in the comments what you are grateful for today. I also want to say thank you so much for joining us today. But before we get out of here, April gets to nominate her 3 people that she wants to have on the podcast. And preferably, April, at least 2 of them are in your phone, right?
Okay.
And one of them could be like a person that's like a fantasy person, but all 3 of them can be in your phone as well. Okay. So obviously you were nominated. She's the first person to come on to the podcast that was nominated by somebody else. And now you get to be the nominee or whatever you want to call it, the person that nominates. So you got your 3 people. So who are your 3 people you want to nominate?
I'm going to nominate my good girlfriend.
Okay.
I really love her, and she's so inspiring. Montrese Baker.
Montrese Baker. Okay.
And her last name may be different now, but she goes by Treese.
Okay, let's go about Treese. Okay, Treese, you've been nominated. You've been nominated, Treese.
She's just everything.
What an honor. She's everything. I like that.
You know what? I would nominate my friend Leslie Navarro.
Okay.
Leslie Navarro. Like, I get goosebumps just thinking about Leslie.
Beautiful.
She's beautiful. She's a mom. She's just her story. She worked at Chase, but I don't think you were there.
Okay.
Just a amazing girl.
Leslie Navarro.
Leslie Navarro,
you've been nominated.
Leslie needs to come on. Leslie has a story to tell.
I love that.
And then if I just had to pick out anyone, it is Tracee Ellis Ross.
Okay, Tracee Ellis Ross.
Love her.
Yeah.
She's like my spirit person.
Tracee got a story to tell for sure.
And she's just everything.
Yeah.
She's all the things.
Yes. Shout out. Do you know her personally?
I wish I did. I was saying it like I knew her.
Tracee Ellis Ross.
If she comes, you know I got to be at least standing over there.
Yeah. You get to be for sure.
Please, and thank you.
And what question would you ask all 3 of them? Which one would you like them to hear?
What has kept you motivated?
Okay.
Both of them, I feel like, have pushed through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what has kept you so positive and motivated through all of the things?
What has kept you so positive and motivated?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I want to say thanks to everyone who was watching the podcast today. We got a chance to have our first female on the podcast. We had the first time of having us a shot on the podcast.
We're just doing all the firsts.
We're doing a lot of firsts today. So I just want to say thanks for checking in. Thanks for taking the time, the energy, and effort out of your day to be a part of this. It is really framed in a space of helping people, right? The goal is to empower others. I think we all need a friend, and sometimes we may not have that physical friend right next to us, but we could always tune in to hear truth and vulnerability, which I think is the highest form of strength. But yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, and share and comment. But thank you for being a part of this today. I want to also give a shout out again to the intro music, my boy Extracts, Carmen Collins from college, and then the outro music by my boy Kevin Clanton. And until next time, thank you for joining us on The Real with Khalil. Let's go. See you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. That was awesome. That was great. Thank you for your transparency on that.
Yeah, no, this was good.
That was awesome. Making me do a shot on a school.
Come on.
That was cool though. That was cool.